and hopefully those preparations are in place. You know, the evacuations and a lot of people taking this storm seriously, which was a great thing considering this is a Category 3 hurricane, with 120-mile-per-hour winds working its way up the east coast of Florida. This is still certainly a life-threatening situation if you're not prepared and if you're right in the eye wall, which is passing right now the Merritt Island area. The eye wall, as we've been mentioning all morning long, the strongest and most severe portion of the hurricane. And you can see since this portion, this part of Merritt Island and then Cape Canaveral jets out a little bit, it is right in the midst of that eye wall with the most severe effects. I'll have a few storm reports for you there in a few minutes. First, I want to get to just how far south this storm is. Now, it's pretty compact, so as it continues to trek north, southeast Florida going to clear out quickly. Right now, conditions in Fort Pierce getting better, although a rain band or two could still whip around in Fort Pierce and drop some rain and pick up the wind speeds. But I'd say West Palm, further south, the worst of it is over, and conditions will continue to improve from here. I also want to show how far inland these rain bands are going past Orlando into Haines City with the gustier winds and the rain falling. So this is still an active situation, and in fact northeast Florida still hasn't even seen the brunt of it. They're up next. They're next in line for the most intense portion of this storm as the eye hopefully stays right off the coast here and hopefully not moves a little further west to get that eye wall right on shore. That's what we're expecting. But it's interesting to see how severe these conditions are and how we're still talking about a serious situation when our conditions in southwest Florida are already calming down a little bit. So Jacksonville, just to give you an idea of the timeline here, Daytona Beach up next, Palm Coast, sliding up the coast continually over the course of your Friday into Jacksonville, expected to be just offshore near Jacksonville as we head into our Friday late afternoon into early evening. That's where the timeline's at right now. But this is moving really quickly at about 13, 14 miles per hour, so we might up that timeline just a little bit. Rain bands going pretty far inland here. You can see past Gainesville as the rain bands whip around with the heavier rains and the gustier winds. Now I want to take it back to southwest Florida real quick. Our Doppler radar picking up on some light rain moving through Glades County. But you can see our conditions looking much different. The worst of it is long gone and will continually improve as we head into the rest of our Friday. Although right now conditions still look stormy with the gray skies and the breezy winds. Moving it over to the coastal counties in southwest Florida now. Charlotte, Lee, and Collier all looking good this morning. A few of those light scattered showers still passing through. Could have some puddles on the roadways from the rain that fell last night. But really, that's all you're looking at as you head out the door to work this morning. I want to show you a quick look at the official track here. This is what we're looking at as we head into the rest of our Friday into our Saturday. Again, the timeline is going to be that Florida-Georgia line later this afternoon into this evening. Right now moving at 13 miles per hour, Category 3 with 120-mile-per-hour winds. The official track keeps this storm, at least the core of this storm, just offshore, but hugging the coastline. So it's still something we have to monitor closely because, again, the further that eye wall gets closer to the coast, I should say, the worse those conditions get. Now, the storm reports that I was showing you, I just want to give you an idea of how strong the winds are here. This is the latest one we got in. This is from Playa Linda Beach. And if you remember about 10 minutes ago, I gave you a storm report from Playa Linda Beach that picked up on 94, 95-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Now that's up to 103 miles per hour. So Playa Linda Beach right in the midst of this eye wall here, getting the worst of it with those gusts that are absolutely intense there in Brevard County, which is obviously getting the worst of the storm right now. Also got a report earlier this morning of a gust of 107 miles per hour with sustained winds of 77 miles per hour in Port Canaveral earlier this morning as the eye wall passed by, which certainly has caused some damage. So it'll be interesting to see the damage reports given to us from Port Canaveral with sustained winds of 77 miles per hour. We also have a wind gust recorded of 101 miles per hour earlier this morning in Cape Canaveral. So again, Cape Canaveral area, Merritt Island, as the storm, the eye wall passed right on over, some dangerous conditions there. Watches and warnings still in place. This gives you a good look at the fact that southwest Florida is the place to be right now. We have dropped all of our watches, all of our warnings, which is a sure sign that the worst is over, and we are expecting to improve moving forward. But there are still hurricane warnings in place for the northeast portion of Florida and the coastline, of course. Our wind speeds right now between about 10 and 20. This is exactly where we expected to be at this time. No longer tropical storm force. Really, we didn't see sustained tropical storm force winds, and so that's another reason why the warnings and watches dropped. As we head into this afternoon, you'll notice on our wind speed forecast, it just continues to drop and back off and back off. So by later tonight, 10 to 15 is all we're looking at, which is totally normal. Nothing out of the ordinary for your Friday afternoon and evening. Wind gusts right now anywhere between 25 and 35. Wind gusts will also back off and drop off as we head into this afternoon. By this evening, wind gusts will be 10 miles per hour, maybe 15 miles per hour. So again, nothing out of the ordinary there. Projected wind fields that are updated now, you can see South Florida, both east and west, now out of that tropical storm force projected wind field, which is another reason why it's safe to say that West Palm Beach, although still breezy, still stormy, the worst of it over for West Palm and further south. Same story for Southwest Florida and the Tampa Bay area, not in that projected tropical storm force wind field either. We're just looking at the east coast of Florida, pressing a little further inland past Orlando as we head into the rest of your Friday morning. As we head into your Friday afternoon, looks like it shifts a little further north, eventually into the coastal communities of Georgia and South Carolina, rather, as we head into our Saturday. Hopefully the storm weakening as it goes along. This is more